Okay, my friends, here it is. This Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. And today we were supposed to have David the Good on the show, but never responded to my emails this week, Dave. So, looks like he's not on the show. I sent him several emails and never got a reply. So he probably just forgot. I understand that he's a very busy man this time of year, as am I. And he probably gets totally flooded with emails, as do I. And so it's understandable that some of them slip through the cracks, I guess. So we're just going to roll with it. And here we are, my friends. So let us see who is here. If you guys are watching after the fact, let us know, what do you got growing right now? Okay. We actually, and I'm going to explain what I meant in the title. I'm taking a big old gamble this year, but I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling pretty confident in the gamble. So I will explain it to you what it is. I got all kinds of stuff to show you. So it's going to be cool. All right. Now, I wish I could get rid of this ridiculous referral link, but I can't. So, okay. So let's see who is here. Jose Andrada says, I have a question. Well, you should have asked the question, my friend, because then I would have saw it. But now we don't know. So Pa Perm is here, my friend. What's up? Good to see you here. Big Wes is here. Yes. Let's see. Big Will Dog is here. Yes. What's up, my friend? Aaron Johnson. Look to Nature Homestead. Definitely got the crew in here. Let's see. Bobby M. Kearney says, I just ordered my liquid spawn. Question. Liquid culture spawn. Question, what is the best substrate for wine cap mushrooms? Now, I've been around wine cap mushroom growing in wood chips and straw. So that's what I'm going to replicate this year. We are going to we're going to have several of the bags of the sawdust or grain spawn. I forget exactly which one it is. And then we're going to plant them in several different areas. And we're going to, inoculate wood chips and also straw. We did straw at the end of last year, but that's not the ideal time. Heading into winter is not the ideal time to do the wine caps on the forest floor. So we'll see if that worked out, but definitely we will be doing the wine caps in the wood chips. That's where I have found and seen the best results. But we're going to try different substrates. So we're going to try straw. We're going to try wood chips. We're going to try maybe leaves, some piles. We'll see. But my main question is, how much sun can they actually take? Because in my garden, I've made it in such that there is a lot of sun. All right, a lot of sun. Ooh, yeah, guys. This tea is just some nice hot water with one cinnamon stick busted in half and about 10 or 15 cloves. So super delicious and good for the throat. Not that there's anything wrong, but trying to talk this much is not what I normally do in my life. I don't just sit here and blah, blah, blah talk, So this is like a exercise for my vocal cords. But now we're going to get some of that raw honey in there. Yes. And we are going to see what you guys got going on. Leland says, good morning. Got my Viking granular. All right. Good to hear. So guys, I know many of you have paid for already your Viking granular, and it will be coming. Okay. So we got most of them out, but we still have a bulk of them that have not gotten out. Now, I have to say, it has been a complete nightmare trying to work with FedEx. It's unbelievable. I just can't even believe that there's a company that exists like this. It's almost criminal. It feels criminal, in their billing practices. And so they let me send out tons of buckets. And the way that their billing scheme works is that you don't get billed directly. You don't get a receipt for directly what you are paying for this stuff. You get an agreed upon rate at first. Okay, the bucket's going to cost this much to ship out. All right, so long as the weight and the dimensions that were entered are correct. I said, okay. So we did tons of shipments like this. And we did weeks of shipments delivered before we even got the first payment taken out of our account. And then I see, and so it's so difficult, it's so cryptic and confusing and non-intuitive, their whole billing scheme. And you try to talk to people and it's just pass you around from call center from an Indian call center to a South Korean call center to some other call center that I don't even know the accent. I've never even heard it. And so really, really a nightmare to deal with. And so long story short, I found out that they were, and this is only after way too much, man hours spent doing this. I found out that they were flagging my packages for additional handling surcharge. And so because it was not in a box. They're buckets, but they're not in a box. So therefore, they doubled the shipping cost. And they were just taking it out of my account. I never got a notification. I never got notified of anything. I've got the mobile app. I've got all the online portals, all the dashboards, all that stuff. Finally got all that working. No one ever notified me anything. It's just so cryptic and confusing. So long story short, I thought it was expensive before, but man, they were doubling the shipping charges quietly, secretly, and then just saying, oh, no, well, it's an additional handling surcharge because it's not in a box. Oh, well, why didn't you notify me that? Because I would have immediately switched my packaging, So it's just a total joke, guys. FedEx is the worst company I've ever tried to work with. And trying to get to the bottom of all of it, just hours of time, hours of life hours just wasted away on hold and talking to different call centers and talking to different people about this and that and getting nowhere. And so I filed a dispute, and so my account is suspended. I don't even care, but I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that. So I blocked my card. I took all my cards off the thing. I will pay the agreed upon rate, but I will not pay a dime of the additional handling surcharge. I was never notified. Okay, so now that I know, if I was ever going to ship with them again, which I will not ever, then I would have adjusted my packaging. Okay, so now I'm switching over to UPS, all right, which is way more transparent. I can tell right away on their website. It's just so intuitive and easy to use. Okay, and yes, Mark, every time I say cryptic, take a shot of tea. Yes, you'll be well in no time. And so UPS is so much more intuitive, and it's not as cryptic, and it's just a lot more user friendly. And they say right up front, while you're making the package, if it's in what kind of packaging is it, and then there's a drop down that says buckets. Okay, and then it notifies you, big red alert. Your package will incur an additional handling surcharge because it's not in a box. Okay, and this will be this amount. Okay, now I see it. It's all up front. So obviously, I'm never shipping another bucket. I'm putting them in boxes, heavy-duty boxes and bags. That's the only way it's going to work, which is unfortunate because I really liked the bucket, the presentation of the bucket. They're so easy to move and to handle, but these are all things that you learn, as you go along, and there's no way you could foresee any of this. But the bags are going to be a lot more laborious on my part, a lot more difficult to work with, almost to the point I'm not even sure if it's worth it, doing the whole thing. But we'll see. I got tons of supply, so I'm still shipping them all out. I'm going to finish shipping out this, but we'll see. You just learn as you go along. And so hopefully the UPS, hopefully I can get something with the system. But guys, before I update the website, because we're sold out at the moment, but when I update the website, we're going to have the boxes and the bags on there, because I don't want people thinking they're getting a bucket when they're not going to be getting a bucket anymore, because it's cost prohibitive. The shipping is unbelievable. So they're now going to be in heavy duty boxes with a bag. So it just is what it is. That's we got to do around it. Okay. Yes, Freebird, thank you, says, sorry you've run into that problem. Yeah, me too. But also, I'm just learning so much. I'm just learning so much from it. So yes, it's painful and sort of irritating and somewhat miserable in the moment, but I'm just learning so much about the way all of this works and what's worthwhile, what's possible, and just so much. So it's actually a really good experience. It's just painful in the moment, of course. Yes. But if you guys follow my other channel, the Thrive, the Nate Muri channel, then you know that this is only on one level. On the deeper level, I'm completely unperturbed whatsoever. So Yes. So, all right, guys. So there, I vented about that, but now it's going to be in bags and boxes. Okay. So, but we'll still do it. All right. Yeah, local pickup is definitely can be in the buckets. No problem. Yeah, it's VA Green says just find a box that a 5 gallon bucket fits in. It's not quite that simple. The charges, because now it's much bigger, even it's bigger and heavier because the dimensions of the 5 gallon. You got to fit the cylindrical 5 gallon bucket into there, so you're actually charged a lot more because of those extra inches. So, and then it's just still a lot of footwork and a lot of taping the boxes and all that kind of stuff. And the profit margins are just not actually really all that high because I have optimized the formula for performance, not for profit, which is what any reasonable like business fertilizer person would do. They would optimize the ingredients for profit, but I've optimized it for performance, and that doesn't translate to profit very well. So you're just learning all this stuff. But it's like I'm not going to go in and then see where I can cut corners and get cheaper on this aspect and that. I'm just going to maintain the same thing, and if people want it, they want it. If not, then no big deal. So yeah, that's the question. Matt Wares says, what should I do when I have too many plant seedlings but not enough grow lights to keep them under? That is the eternal question for us, isn't it? So one thing that you can do is you can plant out what needs to be planted out. All right. So guys, guess what? We are going to plant our tomatoes and peppers today. I know. I know. We're 3 to 4 weeks. May 15th is our last frost date. But based upon my analysis using the genie and also my own thoughts and my own feeling about it, my own gut reactions, Nancy Dewall, $10. Thank you very much, my friend, says for that I received my bucket. I'm glad that you did. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And yes, so you're going to have one of the OG original buckets. Yeah, that's what Donald Hughes says. Glad I got an OG bucket. Yeah, those are the people that, well, save onto that bucket because that's the original. I was doing all that for just breaking even. It's just unbelievably absurd. So most of those shipments now, because of the FedEx criminal billing scam, are over $100. Over $100 just to ship it. So it's out of the question. Anyways, what should I do when I have too many plant seedlings but not enough grow lights to keep them under? You should plant them outside if you can. Okay. Now, one thing, check this out, guys. So I've been looking at the forecast, and here is our forecast. Okay. So, whoops. Here is our forecast. All right. Now look at it. You see the highs, which are fine, 60s, 70s, one day it gets to 80. That's all fine. But it's the lows that is the most important part that you have to look for. And the lows, short of Tuesday at 43, which isn't even close to freezing, it's warming up. And by 10 days from now, next Monday, we're going to be in May. And so I really don't think that there's going to be another cold snap. So we're going to go ahead and plant them out. We're going to go ahead and plant them out. Not because it's the best option, not because that's the ideal time, but because I have to. Okay, because we called nature's bluff a little bit and started too early. Now, how many times have you guys heard me say, don't start too early? Number one mistake I see is people starting too early. How many times have you seen that? I must have lost my mind this year, but also my growing system is so dialed in that they sprout and grow just like that. I mean, just up growing. So it's not like it used to be, years ago when you'd have to wait like a month before your pepper seeds sprout and all that stuff. And mine sprouted in days. Everything just sprouts in days and boom, grows up. So they're all too big to be inside. All right. Look at this tomato. Hold just brace yourself. Okay. This is what my tomatoes are looking like right now. Okay, you see, that's too big. That's too tall. Okay, way too tall for me. Personally, I would only want it to be about like this with a couple healthy leaves. Now, this isn't the end of the world, but if I had to wait, um, if I had to wait until May 15th, it would be the end of the world. These things would be 6 feet tall in this tiny, tiny, tiny little thing. But fortunately, I got these bootstrap farmer trays. Affiliate link in the description. But seriously though, fortunately, I upgraded because everything else was in these smaller ones. These the 2.5, I think they are. These are the 3.5, and there's a lot more soil. There's like over 100% more soil in these larger ones, and so that is what has enabled me to not have horribly root-bound crops. All right, I almost want to take it out of the thing right now, but it'll spill soil everywhere. But this for me is almost too big. Okay, let's see here. So. I mean, ideally, it would be, like I said, down to here, but I need to get this thing into the ground, okay? I need to get this thing into the ground. And then we got, whoa, Taylor Reindl, $50. Thank you very much, my friend. Yes, you're very welcome. And thank you so much for your stand-up honesty, which of course, I mean, I would expect nothing less of the tribe members, but still, I accidentally somehow sent him an additional bucket. And he didn't order one. And so I said, hey, that was my fault. If you want to keep it and you feel like you shouldn't pay anything, I totally understand. And you can just keep it. But he was like, no way, and paid me full price. And so I appreciate that. Thank you. So the thing about the tomato, though, is that it will put down roots throughout its, do you see these little things right here? These will become roots. Now, it does that because in its native environment, it is more of a vine. And so they vine along the ground and they will put down roots along the way where they'll vine up over something maybe. And then where they touch the soil, they will put down roots and become like a multi-rooted plant. That way, if something happens to one part of it, it will still keep growing from the other part of it. It's a good tactic for survival. But how we can use that to our advantage is, you see them roots down there, trying to put out these roots? How we can use that to our advantage is that we are going to, when we plant this, I'm going to pull off this one, this one, this one, this one. And if I wanted to get extreme, I could even pull off these two, but there's not much of a need to do that. So I'm probably just going to pull off up to here and plant the tomato like this. Right up to here. But eventually I'll be pulling these off because they're too close to the ground at that point. But all of that is going to help. Then we're going to plant this all the way deep into the root zone. So it's going to be like this. And all that is going to become additional roots. Now, yes, I have done it in the years past. If you've got super ridiculously long ones, like these would be in another 2 weeks, and shallow beds, you can, and I have planted them sideways. And that works really well also. You can plant them sideways and just leave the tip sticking out. Now, the best way to do that, guys, listen, if you want to plant them sideways, which works perfectly fine, if you have restrictions, if you're in the soil or in raised beds like mine, like moderately raised beds, then it's best to go deep into the ground. But if you want them to go sideways, because it will be warmer and the tomatoes love the warmth. So especially if you're in a cooler area, then it's good to plant them sideways like this. Now, the best way to do it is to take your tomato plant and lay it down on its side for just like a day before you plant it out. And it will naturally take the top, and the top will face upwards. It will use gravity, and go against gravity. And so it will naturally bend itself upwards. Then you can just plant it without worrying about snapping it or anything like that. So it does work great that way. Maybe one day if they're healthy, 2 or 3 days if they're not quite so healthy, then it takes them longer. So that is pretty much the way to do the tomatoes. Now this tomato is going to go into the ground, and yes, it's not going to love the fact, so it's not really warm, okay? we have so again, here is the forecast. So you can see, and the forecast is everything, guys. You have to, that's what it's all about. So you see that the highs are not in the high. I mean, it would like that 80-degree and humid. It likes that type of temperatures. Even those ones towards the bottom with the lows in the 50. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday is not going to like. Low at 43. It's not going to die by any means, but it's not, they don't like the coolness like that. They are really like warm season plants. So still, ideally, I wouldn't even be planting them out for another 2 weeks. But this is, for me, this is a borderline atrocious and embarrassing almost. So for me, this is not acceptable. And so I'm going to plant them out and we're just going to see how it goes. Now, fortunately, Bootstrap Farmer, who, we got a little thing going on for this growing season. They sponsor me by sending me products and stuff, and then the affiliate links. But they sent me this this kit, very simple, so that you can make your own hoop houses out of metal. Just small low tunnels, and they fit perfectly over my beds. The 4x10 beds, it literally fits perfectly. So now I've got 2 of these really sturdy metal greenhouses, and the only thing you have to buy is the EMF. Is that what it's called? The conduit, the metal EMT or EMF, I forget, from the store, which is like $8, for a 10-foot section. So for like 80, 90 bucks in total, then now you've got this permanent hoop house that is movable, and you can drape plastic over it and secure it, or you can drape shade cloth over it, or you can drape bug netting over it. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm not just saying that. I'm actually really, it's going to be cool how versatile it is, because we're going to put one over the tomato and pepper beds, so that if it does get too cold, we're just going to drape greenhouse plastic over it and just let it go. It will warm it up during the daytime. Now remember, hoop houses, if it's unheated, it will be ambient temperature at night, basically. It will be ambient temperature at night. So if those lows get too low, I'm going to put a heater in there, which is absurd, I know, and goes against everything I'm always talking about, but sometimes you just got to pivot, and you got to do it anyways. So let's see what you guys are saying. Yes. Let's see. Lita Knows says, I planted my leggy tomato about that deep, halfway up. Oh, P.S. My bucket arrived looking to grab another after payday, 1st of month. I'm so excited for this season. Yes, definitely. The season is upon us, basically. It's basically upon us. So yes, when you grab that other bucket, just remember it's coming in a bag that's in a box now. So that's just how we got to do it. We got to pivot, and we got to adjust and adapt. So B. Hendricks gifted 1 Garden Like a Viking membership. Thank you for always doing that, my friend. I'm not really sure what that means exactly, but thank you for doing it. I appreciate that. Let's see here. What you guys talking about? Weebler says, I'm in zone 6 near Detroit, and I want to plant out my tomatoes and peppers soon. How many days should they be hardened off before planting? That depends upon your growing setup, okay? So my grow setup is ridiculous, okay? So now it has to do with the lighting, all right? So if you're growing in a windowsill, ooh, they're gonna need a lot of hardening off, if they can even survive at all. But if you're growing in a proper setup, like the one that you've seen me make earlier this year with the Spider Farmer thing with the tent put on its side and the 2 lights, if you've got something like that, then they're going to be pretty strong. They're already, and you got the fan blowing on them constantly, light the fan from the video. If you've got a proper setup where they're getting kind of, blown around sometimes, then they're going to be pretty hardy. And so you can take them outside, and just a few days is all that you might need, 4 or 5 days, if you've got a good setup. Now, if you've got a weak setup, or just some shop lights that aren't down low enough, or you didn't have the wind on them, that's the most important. Well, wind and the sun are the most important things. So if you didn't have enough wind on them, and they haven't developed those micro tears in their stalks and stems, then that strengthens them up, then they're just gonna snap and fall over from the wind. Okay, so remember, it's like when you go to the gym, or for example, and you're doing a press or something, and you're sore the next day. Those are micro tears in the actual muscle tissue, and so it breaks it down, but then it signals to the body to rebuild it stronger and more capable, and so you get more muscular density and size and strength. Now, the plant is somewhat similar in that every time it is blown around by the wind like this, it is making little micro tears all along the way, and then it rebuilds nice and strong. But if you don't have that wind, it's going to be real weak. So if your grow room, and you don't see any of your leaves moving in your grow room ever, and you've just got shop lights, they're going to be weak. All right. And you're going to take them outside, and they're just going to want to fall over. It's just so much work to keep myself standing up straight. They're going to have weak, atrophied muscles. All right. It's as if you were laying in a hospital bed for 6 months, and then you get up and all weak all of a sudden. Yeah. Atrophy. So, likewise, my setup is ridiculous. So I do have the Spider Farmer setup that I showed from the video, but I'm growing the ginger in there. All right. What I grew the tomatoes and peppers in, and why they grew so insanely fast, is because I was using the Mars Hydro 3000 lights. Okay. Which those were from a previous lifetime, a previous project many years ago. I would never spend $450 per light on lights now. Okay. Those are from a previous lifetime, if you understand. But I still have them, so I dusted them off, and it was like, hey, you know what? These things are LED. They are very, very efficient and really powerful. And so I cranked them bad boys up, and everything just shot up. And I'm using my gauge, my PPFD meter, my PPR or my PAR meter from the video you saw. I'm using the meter to make sure that it's not too much light. It's almost too much light, but you just make sure to give them enough magnesium, and they can process the light, no problem. Okay, because what is some of the struggle when they go outside? Most people's struggle is the light. They get scorched because they don't have intense enough light inside, and the plant has not had a chance to develop what is called chloroplast density. Yeah, chloroplast are the little molecules, cells, little things that actually do the photosynthesizing. And so you want the more intense light that they have, the more density of chloroplasts they will formulate. If you don't have intense light, they don't formulate enough chloroplasts. So therefore, in simple terms, they can't process the light that they're receiving. And so they get light poisoning. They get, and you'll see a bunch of magnesium deficiency symptoms, or they'll just get straight up burned, like I'm going to show you here in a moment. That comes from a lack of chloroplast density. Okay, so we can keep it simple for now without getting too nerdy on it. So let's see. Masabi Gal says, Nate, would slightly decreasing the light hours help slow seedling growth to time the plant out better? I never even thought of that, actually. I would have my reservations, though, just because I've tried doing 12-12 before on the plants, and they just don't grow that well because there's too much darkness. They haven't developed the ability to store the solar energy Uh, it's different than growing outside. I know everyone's going to say, well, it's 12 outside right now. Well, it's actually like 14, 10 outside right now. But the things indoors are different. Things indoors are just very different. All right. And so I know that outside there's 1800 ppfd when you get your par meter out there, and everyone's like, well, but that's then, so how can you possibly have too much light indoors at 700 ppfd? That doesn't make any sense. If outdoors is 1800 in the direct sun, there's other factors, many other factors that come into play. And it has to do with things like called the daily light interval. And so it's a measurement of how much total ppfd over the given hours it receives per day, all right? Without going too deep. But outdoors, there's variance, okay? There is cloud cover. And if you see the cloud cover, the effect of the cloud cover, it's amazing. It will go from having 1800 ppfd then to when the cloud goes over, like 280. All right, way down. On a day like today, I bet it's like 200, 220. Okay, way down. So there's a lot of variation in the outdoors. There's also a lot of variation in the wind. There's just, all the factors are right outdoors, but indoors, it's a different ballgame. It's just a different animal. So I have found plants do not grow that well with less than 16 hours indoors. So that's my experience. But that wouldn't be a bad idea, though, if it was. But see, I'm not about trying to stifle the growth of the plant, because I know that for truly healthy plants, you want them to be on an upward trajectory. You don't want them to sprout and grow real fast and everything's warm and sunny, and then all of a sudden, oh, now the days are way shorter. All of a sudden, it can wig plants out. So I like them to just sprout and take off to the moon. That's what I like. And so that's why we're going to do that thing where we plant them now. Tess Colby says, can I plant beets and peppers, all peppers, in trash bags like potatoes? Absolutely. You can grow anything in those bags. I mean, within reason. I wouldn't try and grow corn in there, but you can grow, definitely beets and peppers. Yeah. Just roll it down enough, make sure it's nice and stable. The key with the bags is to make sure that once they are settled and planted, you never move them. That's what's very important. You never move them. Because every time you pick a bag up or you move it, you're busting all those little connections of the roots and all that kind of stuff. And the soil is not, so you just have to leave it. Okay. Yes. Basically, yes. Jay Dixon says, I switched to frame beds, raised beds, but barely above the soil. It worked well for me. Now moving to full raised beds, as I can afford the beds and the time and materials. Nice. So frame beds, that's a good way to put it. That's basically what we have here. Yes. Mo, yes, says, nice Greenstalk video. Greenstalk 4-year owner here. Real nice quality compared to others. I have herbs, lettuces, basils on my balcony. However, I find more benefit splitting to 3 or 4 at a time. Let's see, splitting to 3 or 4 at a time. What is that? Now, I think I'm already going to order another one and fill it full of just strawberries. Just the small leaf one, and see how it does. I really want to see how it does. Because if I can have a tower of strawberries, that would be amazing. That would be game-changing, definitely. I like it. Sam Potzik, $10. Thank you, my friend. Says, FedEx refund. I feel bad, but hopefully UPS will be more user-friendly. Thanks for all you do. Yes, thank you for being a part of the tribe as well, my friend. I appreciate all of your energy and the contribution. Thank you. Definitely, I was thinking of you, during the nightmare with FedEx. But of course, FedEx is a conglomerate, massive corporation that Now, the one thing I can say good about them, though, is that every single package arrived like that. Okay? That is the one thing I can say, that every package was picked up and delivered stat. So the only thing that's deceptive and criminal is how they treat their customer, the billing practices. Yes. Let's see here. So a little bit more honey. Lita Knows says, let's see here. My ginger came up in spite of 40-degree temperatures. Turmeric is darn slow, hopefully not rotting. Tahitian melon doing good. Glad my Viking granules showed up. Oh yes, garlic's been needing feeding. Needing feeding. Garlic always needing feeding. Definitely. So you can make a slurry with the Viking granular and apply it that way. I mean, if there's like mulch and stuff, and it'll go in every time you water. It's very water soluble, not 100%, but mostly yes. So I'm going to show you guys some things here in a moment. Now, whoa. Freebird says putting in 8 new raised beds. Kind of sad. I like growing straight in the ground. I'll see how it goes. I do have a few raised beds for small crops. That's been good. Yes, raised beds are really nice. Especially, I didn't have as much luck with real tall raised beds. If you have back problems, I can understand. But getting down into the earth or a frame bed is very beneficial. The whole movement, the whole everything is very good if you can. So, and I've always had the best results with just mildly raised beds. 2x12, 2x10, and that's good. That's plenty. So it's a really good thing. Yes. Ooh, RK says put some tea light candles in hoop house last year on cool nights. Seemed to help, no damage. Okay. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna put like one of those ceramic heaters for like a reptile, one of those ceramic light bulbs that don't have any light. It just is a heat source. I think I'm gonna probably do that. Let's see here. Ooh, here we go. Teets, $20. Thank you, my friend. Says true or false questions. I can use Viking granular in my pots, but works better with soil food web. I can dilute Viking granular in water and use it when watering. I can add Viking granular to beds that I have been using blue synthetic newts. Okay, well, it's more than just true or false. But I can use Viking granular in my pots, but works better with soil food web. Yes, but your pots will have soil food web in them. They definitely can. So yes, you can use them in your pots, absolutely. Remember, at least 2 tablespoons per gallon of soil, all right? Because it's the only thing that you need in there. The second one, I can dilute Viking granular in water and use it when watering. You can, definitely, if you have to. It's best to mix it into the earth, though, into the actual soil where the roots will be. But to top dress halfway through the season, absolutely. You can also just sprinkle it and water it in every time you water from above. Or you can mix it up into a slurry. It mostly dissolves, except for some of the stuff, like the langbeinite, will be there a little bit longer. So, yes, you can definitely do that. And yes, you can add to the beds that you've been using the blue synthetic newts, but you have to understand the way that they work. So you have to, the blue synthetic newts is going to be really putting a damper on the microbial life in the beds, if not outright killing it. Okay, so we need to give it a time period where it will repopulate, and they can repopulate very quickly. So give them the food source, which is the Viking granular, but then also add a good aerated compost tea to jumpstart all of those microorganisms again. All right, because remember, all of the stuff that is in there requires microorganisms to first break it down. That is all organic nutrients. So, thank you, Meyer Lemons. $20 says FedEx paying donation for the Viking granular. Thank you, my friend. Yes, I know it's unbelievable, but it's just things that we have to learn by doing it. So that's why I'm so looking forward to the courses, to getting the courses happening, because there's no shipping involved. There's nothing. I don't have to rely on anyone else. It's through my own website, so it's just going to be so much easier. If I had like someone where it was their full-time job to ship merch and stuff like that, like it may be in the future, of course, then it would be okay. Where they could where I'm paying them for like 8 hours a day, and so they can just be on the phone for hours on end with FedEx, all these different departments, and getting disconnected in the billing and all the blah blah blah, and having to refute and dispute and rebuttal and all this stuff. If it was their full-time job, okay, but for me, to do all of that, I mean, Camille is definitely helping. No doubt. Camille is definitely helping dramatically with everything. I want to be clear about that. But it's not like her job, So it's just me, basically, full time like that. And so everything kind of has to come down to that. And so I need to make sure that all the stuff that is happening doesn't detract from the essence of the mission. Yeah? That everything has to be in line with that. And so floundering around with FedEx billing for hours on end, day after day, or several days throughout the week, is not the best use of my time. I can put it that way. So, Freebird says, when do you think you'll put sweet potatoes in? Oh, thank you, Donald Hughes. Says, let's see here, $5. $5 donation. Says extra 5 for the OG bucket I got from the OG shipper. LOL. 2 tablespoons Viking fertilizer per plant. Okay, thank you. And definitely I will be getting you all that stuff that we talked about anyways, soon enough. And so 2 tablespoons of fertilizer per plant. Now that depends what it is. If it's a beet, absolutely. Absolutely. That's plenty. So, and look, guys, these are those beets that got scorched, or that were just dead and limp looking. Do you remember that from the video about the total disaster? They've come back. So we'll see what they're like. Now, if it is something like a tomato or a pepper or something, then you'll need more than that. Okay. I mean, it depends on what your setup is like. But like, for example, last year I grew those 4 tomato plants, each one in a 2 by 2 by 1 raised bed, open to the ground underneath. And I filled it with the peat moss perlite mix that I have around for all kinds of stuff. And then put a whole quart of Viking granular in each one. But I only grew 4 tomatoes, and they were Jurassic, massive, tons of tomatoes, tons of foliage as well, but just huge and healthy and robust and massive. And that was all that they need. They had nothing else all season long. So could I have got away with less? Probably, yeah. I mean, if you need to, definitely. But there's certain things that do better, certain things need a lot more nutrition. Okay, we can put it that way. So save the Viking granular for the things that really want the good vitamin mineral profile. Yeah. And then Freebird, when do you think you put in sweet potatoes? I was thinking after Mother's Day. Yeah, that's what everyone says. And that's when I typically would do it, of course. But I mean, looking at these temps, look, I mean, and I know you're relatively similar. So, right. Because you're in, I mean, I know where you're at. And so these temps are fine. They're not ideal for sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes likes it hot. They like it 80s, 90s, southern, hot, humid, miserable. They like it like that. So if you, it's better to wait. I'll put it that way. It's better to wait until everything warms up and that soil's warm. Okay. But if you're like me and you're bursting at the seams with plants everywhere, then it's going to be more like this. Okay. So I'm going to go and get the plants to show you guys. And let's see here. Yes. Yeah. I'm going to put one of these in every bag box combo, definitely. So as just like a sorry for having to put it in a bag. It's so ridiculous, but whatever. So the sweet potatoes, guys, check it out. Now I'm going to try and do this without spilling it. So here is the sweet potatoes, and you can see that we are bursting at the seams with the sweet potatoes, all right? So now look, this is the example I wanted to tell you about as far as the sunburn, the sun scald, okay? So the new method of doing sweet potatoes is just totally ridiculous, out of control, all right? So there's these sweet potatoes, but then we've got these over here, all right? Here is how they come right out of the tote and into this water, and then they root to this point, all right? And then we put them into the containers, and then they just start growing. And so we've got like 60 slips already planted like this, okay? And then we've got probably 30 more that need planted today, and probably 25 more that need cut today. Tegan and Camille are coming over to assist / do that. So that is with the sweet potatoes. And so I don't really have the room to just be having tray after tray of sweet potatoes. So I'm going to put them outside anytime, really. Anytime. I'm going to put them outside soon. So that's just what it's just going to have to be what it is. Now, look at this, guys. This is classic sun scald because they were just upstairs like this in a south. They were in a south-facing window. All right, and they were looking like this in this thing, real nice. They're in a south-facing window. But then I put them under the grow lights, the Mars Hydro SP 3000s. And that did this, basically, scorched them. So you can see, it scorched some of them, but the new growth is totally adapted to that. So while you have the old growth looking scorched, the new growth has developed right from the very beginning the proper chloroplast density to be able to defend and to be able to process the light. And so that's not going to happen. But that is like, I mean, ridiculous sun scald. That's not even hiding it. That's just straight up sun scorching. Because it's not really the sun. It's, of course, the Mars Hydro 3000. And so I'm going to plant these out pretty soon just because I'm bursting at the seams with them. This new method is just out of control. I mean, I started way too early, of course. So I'll probably start a month later next year. But for now, we're going to have a boatload of sweet potatoes. And we're going to take these, and what these are enabling us to do, okay, what these are enabling us to do is we can take these little containers like this, and we can plant them throughout the garden. So we're gonna interplant this year with these sweet potatoes. All right, we're gonna interplant with these, and it's my opinion and belief that these are going to have very little transition period. All right, look at these roots growing out of them. These are going to have very little of that transition period because most of the time when you plant sweet potatoes just from slips, they just sit there for like a month and a half, and it appears like they're doing nothing, but they're just like getting acclimated, and then they explode with growth. But I think this year, because we don't have a super long season, I think this year that they're going to bypass that because they're already established in these pots. They've already got roots coming out. They're already into the soil. And so I think that they're really going to grow quickly. And so I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to put these around. But then at the Viking North plot, we are going to, we're making a whole different garden area for the courses. I'm filming all of it. Guys, the courses are going to be 100% original content, 100% unique content. Every video is going to be only in the courses. So we're going to be doing that whole garden there, all right? And we're going to be putting in, it's a different technique and stuff, and so it's like the distilled essence of all the different techniques, and it's my favorite technique of all. So this is going to go, we're going to have a whole row of these there. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have hundreds of pounds of sweet potatoes this year. At least 200 pounds, I would assume, I would guess, all right? So these are going out anytime now. I mean, anytime. So long as they don't freeze, so long as they don't get into the low 30s, they'll be okay. They'll survive. Now, they're not going to thrive until the nights don't fall below 50. That's what they like. Okay. So let me show you something else, guys. Look at the easiest way to make labs. Get you a gallon of raw milk, raw cow's milk, and just let it sit out. Okay. And this is what happens. So here is the labs underneath, and here is the what would be the cheese, and here is the cream. Okay, because this is raw milk, so it's not been homogenized. Now, I don't eat the cheese from the raw milk because it's a little too funky. It's just not the same. But you could definitely, if you had chickens, they would love it, or hogs, or whatever it is. But this is what we want. So what I'm going to do to get this out is put it over a large pot and take a Viking knife and stab into that, twist it a couple times, and let it all drain out until there's none of the labs left and everything else is drained out. Okay, so that's the easiest way to make labs, is just getting raw milk, letting it sit out, but it has to be raw. If you use pasteurized, homogenized milk, it will just rot. It will not, because it's not alive. This stuff is alive. No rice wash water, no nothing. I just, because I get raw milk. I get like 3 gallons every 2 weeks from the Amish. And we got like a co-op thing going on. And this week in particular, I wasn't able to get to the 3rd gallon. And so then the new gallons came. So I just set this one out, and bam, within just a couple of days, it turns into labs. And so this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. All right. So no rice wash water, no, confusion, all that kind of stuff. So let's see here who we got going on. Simplified Gardening. What's up, Tony? Says, hey, all. Sorry I'm late. Been working and about to drive. So we'll listen, but not be able to read, text, or respond. Okay, well, glad you're here, my friend. Yes, the season is upon us. Guys, check out Tony's channel, which all of you already know him because he's a regular here. And yeah, like I said, I was supposed to have David the Good on the channel today, but never got a call back. He agreed to it a couple of months ago, and then I emailed him several times this week, ghosted. So it's just me today. All right. So the look to nature. That's funny. That's funny. So Christina, can you use goat milk? Now, I have not used goat milk. There's not the same fat content, but I would imagine that you can. Yes, I would imagine that you can. I personally have not used it like that, but oh well. Yeah, VA Green. No, I was thinking of some kind of playful, I mean, it's all, I understand. I'm not like offended by it. But you know how like George Jones, classic country, they used to call him No-Show Jones because he would just not show up so many times because he was like, his life was such a mess. So I just thought that was kind of funny. So yes, Big West. Cow is definitely better. Cow is the best milk for sure to use for that. Let's see here. Now, Meyer Lemon says, Nate, when are you planting out regular potatoes? Ideal soil temp. I have not tested the soil temp for potatoes to really have a definitive answer to say, wait till it's this degrees, because potatoes are very hardy. As far as they can take temperature fluctuations and stuff. They cannot take freezing solid though. That will ruin them. But now, anytime now, you can plant them now, definitely. Oh man, Gary, $50. Thank you very much, my friend, for the contribution via PayPal. I appreciate that. Says, thanks for all you do for the tribe. Love, light, and many blessings to you. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate your consistent support. All of you guys. Very appreciative. So I will keep doing what I'm doing. No doubt about that. All right, we're not going to let any of this stuff deter us in any way whatsoever. We just have to learn from it. So, Nate, when are you planting out regular potatoes? Ideal soil temp. So I don't really know. I'm going to plant them out pretty much any time. All right. Now, let me show you what my potatoes look like at this point. So they've been out chitting for many weeks, actually a couple of months now, and they are looking pretty good. So I'm going to show you a couple of varieties here that you guys can see. And well, it's actually only the Austrian crescent potatoes are the only ones that I'm going to show you right now. But I want to illustrate the point of why I don't cut every potato. Now, these are the Austrian crescents, both of them. And so this one I will cut because you see all these nice stocky chits on them. We're going to cut it probably like right here, give or take, because that gives us several eyes, several chits on each side of the cut. We're going to cut it and possibly dip it in wood ash, or probably just let it sit out for a couple of days until it sort of heals over, and then we'll plant everything. Now this one here, I'm not going to cut. This will be fine, all right? So this one we will cut, this one we will not, because it will be a nice, strong, healthy plant. And some people want to push it too far and try, oh, there's 6 eyes on this plant, so I can get 6 vines. And they just take their X-Acto knife and shave off a tiny little portion. I've never had luck with that. I've had the most failures doing it that way. You plant this, it will come up. We're not going to have failures. You try and dissect this into 3 pieces, and there's just not enough solar energy for the plant to push up through anything, really. So you can plant them now. You can plant them pretty much now, because the danger of frost is very, very minimal, all right? And I had Chatty G go and do deep research. And I said, look at all of the current weather patterns, look at all of the NOAA, all the weather stations. I want you to examine all of the current algorithms and their findings for this area in Indiana. And I want you to tell me what the likelihood of another frost coming is. And it took like 13 minutes, 12, 13 minutes. She was doing deep research and then came back, gave me a big, long thing about how, based upon all of the information, there's no more frost. So we'll see. We'll see, huh? Now, the AI is a wonderful tool, but guys, what I didn't realize fully until this experience I'm about to tell you is that you have to understand how to talk to it. It's an amazing tool, but you have to understand what it is and its capabilities and how it works. So you remember last week, I was telling all you guys to go and subscribe or follow the Garden Like a Viking Facebook page that I had just started. I started a brand new account, started a brand new page, and I've been trying to do that for years. And I was able to do it in 2 days with the help of AI. Now that was great, okay? And I set it up, and many of you guys went to the Facebook page and started following it and stuff. And then I get a notification from Facebook. Hey, your account's been suspended. What? Both accounts have been suspended. Why? And so they don't really tell you why. They just say, you're violating our community policies. What? Okay. And so then I got back on with the AI and was like, hey, so those accounts you just told me how to set up got suspended. What's the deal? And she was like, oh, yeah, probably because one person is not allowed to have multiple accounts. You can have multiple profiles, but not multiple separate accounts with different email addresses. I was like, oh, well, why didn't you tell me that? And she was like, oh, well, because you didn't ask. I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's true. I didn't ask. It just does exactly what you want it to do. So the question was, how do I set up this whole new account? Blah, 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 like this. And she said, well, here's how you do it. I never said, is this going to violate any of the community guidelines? So that's just how it works. But now that I understand that, and I'm double checking with everything that I'm saying, you talk to it differently now. And so it was like, yeah, I'm very sorry, but you never asked about that part of it. So yeah, it clearly violates rule number 297 of the outline, the 40-page outline, the community guidelines, that you're not allowed to have multiple accounts. So Okay, so I had to go in and delete that. Facebook let me back in for a little while, and then I deleted that whole thing. So all you guys that went to find it last week and follow it, that whole page, that whole profile is deleted. Okay, please go back. I need all of you guys listening right now. If you've got Facebook, even after the fact, go to Facebook, Garden Like a Viking. There's only one account. That there is a fake account that has like a G on it that has some of my videos, but that's not me. A lot of you guys have emailed me. Thank you very much for bringing it to my attention. That's obviously not me. That's some kind of AI. I don't know what. But it doesn't matter to me. I don't even care. So don't even bother reporting them or anything like that. It's just free advertising. So me, you will see my this face, you know, when I had the long dreadlocks and stuff. So and then you will see when you click on it, the backdrop is the logo, you know, Garden Like a Viking, this logo here. So you will see that. And start following that page. Okay, start following the page, leaving comments on it, sharing. I'll be posting to it. You know, I just posted the onion reel, which is so funny. I posted the short to that Facebook account right away, to the new one, which is on my old school account that I've had for 20 years. So it's fine. This is the final page, and this is how I'm going to advertise the courses up, you know, along the road and stuff. But I need you guys to follow the page. So help us out and do that. It's, you know, free. So the oh, I was just going somewhere with that one, but I forgot. I guess I'm not supposed to be saying that then. There was something I wanted to say about the account. Well, anyways, don't worry about the fake one. All right. So thank you guys for bringing it to my attention, but I'm not concerned about that. So it's just so funny that they let that one go through, or that they let that one slide under the radar, impersonating Garden Like a Viking. But I was immediately flagged. Oh. But what is funny is that the first video that I posted to that Facebook account was that Facebook business page, Garden Like a Viking, was my top performing reel on Instagram. This reel about the onions got 9 million views. Okay, like 70,000 followers on Instagram just from that reel. Okay, I released it to Facebook, and it's got one like in like 4 days. You know, so it's just funny the way that things work. But go there and share that reel. I'm gonna put some more reels on there. So we need, without the tribe, there's nothing. So please do that, okay? So yes, thank you, Big Wes. I know you got it. Thank you. Simone Richardson says, one of your latest videos, you had a row cover I saw in the background. Are you going to do hotbeds in the fall? Probably not so much hotbeds, but I am doing the, like I explained in the beginning of this broadcast. Maybe you missed it, but I got from Bootstrap Farmer a hoop bender. And it's just amazing. It's awesome. So look out for the video. It'll probably be the one upcoming this week. And now it's so versatile because I'm going to use the same permanent, or the same mobile hoop house to start the seeds. I'm going to pull it off the bed and take it up onto the concrete, put shade cloth over it, and use that as my fall garden seed starting setup. It's going to be amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right. Thank you, Melanie McManus. I appreciate that. Well, Dusty Flats says, I recently discovered how dumb AI is when doing a search. Don't trust the advice it pulls. Well, now, I would not use the word dumb by any means, but you do have to understand how to ask it. It's like the genie. And we talked about this last week on my other channel, Nate Muri. We had a whole hour on AI, and we asked it a bunch of mind-blowing questions, or questions, and got mind-blowing answers. So check that out if you want after this. But you have to know how to talk to it. It's like the genie, you know, the whole mythology of the genie is where, once the genie's out of the bottle, it's not going back in until you trick it. You have to be more cunning than the genie to get it back into the bottle. 2, you have to be careful what you ask for. Yes, I want a truckload of gold. okay, and it crushes and kills you. You know, I mean, that's like the mythology of the genie. So it's illustrating you have to know what you want. You have to know how to use that type of intelligence. It's an unbelievable tool. Okay. I mean, it is game-changing tool. Yes, Freebird says, Nate, I've been thinking about your chat with AI all week. It was so crazy the information it gave us. Yes, definitely. Especially for those with eyes to see. Yes. Um, Big West says, I'm banned from Instagram. Someone baited me to say something, then reported it. Don't take the bait, brother. So VA Green, just as a side note to the labs, I made too much. So put part of it in 1 quart jar and it's done 2 days ahead of the gallon jar, even though they were mixed at the same time. Now that could have several reasons, but probably it's because it can be warmer. It could be warmer than the other one, for one. Also, when you poured it off, you might have poured more concentration. The lactic acid bacteria was already starting to concentrate in that one area. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, guys, remember in that video that I made on the one mistake and they're all dead, how everything was dead? Now, I already showed you the beet, okay? About 80% of them have come back like this, and I kept them just because. And a lot of people are like, why are you starting up beets? I've always been promoting to direct sow beets. But last year, I experimented with starting them up because of how much slug pressure there is in a garden that has heavy mulch. Yeah. So I started them up and had phenomenal results. As long as you know how to transplant them and how to time them, you don't let them get too big, and how to get them out of the container easily, they receive virtually zero transplant shock because I'm not sitting there, trying to get it out of the package. I'm just carefully know exactly how to do it gingerly and then put it into the hole like that. And so there was virtually zero transplant shock. All of them that I transplanted last year, all summer long, grew up and were thriving. So I'm literally starting up everything except carrots, basically, and peas and rattlesnake pole beans. All right. But now here's an awesome one. Do you remember how dead and limp those Yod Fa was? I mean, it was like, it looked like just a pile of tissue paper. Now look at them. They still got, this one was bitten hard by the frost, yes, but now look at them, nice and vigorous and healthy. So I'm going to end up cutting one of them off, or if I could separate them, but probably cutting this one off and then cutting this off of it. And then we're going to have us a nice stout Yod Fa plant, and we're going to plant that out. And so I'm glad that I didn't panic, because these are weeks ahead of the other Yod Fa. And so this is also called Galan, is the Thai name for it. Gailan, I forget exactly what it is, but Gailan, and it's every part of the thing is edible, every part. So it doesn't matter if it bolts. It's like Chinese broccoli. You know this, like broccolini, rapini kind of thing. Like, it grows little florets, and they're so good. You cut them, saute them. The leaves you can saute, you can stir fry them. The stems, even the flowers. So it doesn't really matter if it bolts. You can just saute the flowers, even everything. You can saute it all. So I'm loving the Yod Fa. It doesn't even blink at the heat because it originates in Thailand, where it's like sweltering hot. So guys, I keep track of like weather from places that I've visited and been in life and stuff. And so I keep track of Bangkok, because I spent a lot of time in Bangkok over the years. And look at this weather. Look at that, okay? 97 degrees, 98 degrees, 99 degrees, 95, low of 83. That's tropical jungle weather right there. Low of 83. And you can guarantee it's almost 100% humidity, okay? It is, because there's pop-up thunderstorms. It says sunny, but there's pop-up thunderstorms all the time. And it is just so sweltering hot. It's unreal. And all the smog from Bangkok, wow. But it's still a beautiful, amazing, one-of-a-kind place. One of my favorite cities on earth. Because it was Also the portal to Kotal, where I actually lived for those couple of seasons. So that is blazing hot. All right. Now, if the Gailan is adapted to that, then it's going to do just fine in the summers here. The summers here don't even approach that. We may get a couple of days like that, or maybe a week here and there, but it's not consistently like that. It is so miserable to a Viking like me when I was there, just pouring sweat down my face, just so hot. And the locals are just like, yeah, whatever, no problem. So, yeah, listen to this. See, Fantastish says, Bangkok smells like trash and humidity is mind-blowing. Love Thailand, though. Yes, it's that kind of thing. Even Bangkok, even the Koh San Road area and the back alleys of Bangkok and the huge rats and all that, the smell of sewage, but also the smell of incense and food and all kinds. It's just amazing. It's amazing. So, now, let's see here, guys. Check out the. Let's see if I can show you. You want to see the ginger? Actually, I bet that you want to see what finally came up. Okay, first I'm going to show you the ginger, and then I will show you the turmeric. All right. The ginger, like always, is too big inside, but once you get the growing conditions down, I mean, they're growing into the lights, and so they're like a little bit, a little bit too big. So here's the ginger right now that is a little bit too big, and we would prefer it not to be so big, but it's going to be just fine because the weather, these are ready to go out. I mean, they're ready to go out. Okay, so you should see I did one tray of ginger from the co-op, the organic store, and one tray from the Asian market. And I don't know exactly until I plant them out which tray is which, but this tray is thriving while the other tray is way behind. Just a lot of them didn't sprout. Now, and they received the same exact everything. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that this is the one from the Asian store because they know garlic better than the co-op, or I mean ginger, because ginger's a way of life in those countries. So they have much better ginger. So this stuff, and you see how it's growing up out of here, guys. Look at how it's growing out of the rhizomes. Now remember, ginger does not even begin producing more rhizomes until 4 months into its growth period. So we're only 2 months into this growth period, perhaps, and maybe even less. So it's going to take all the way up until frost. Frost will kill it back, and we will harvest some amazing ginger. You guys will see. All right. So this stuff is going to create lots of new ginger. And then we're going to ferment it. All right. So now I want to show you the turmeric, which was planted at the same time. So don't go anywhere. Let me go into my tent and get the turmeric. This tent is amazing. I mean, I just love this. Well, let me just go ahead and show you the stuff from the co-op. Now, I can't say 100% that this is from the co-op, okay? But look, now the actual size of it is fine, but look at how a lot of them just didn't sprout, okay? The actual size and health of the plants is great, but I would say only a third of them actually sprouted. There's only a quarter as many stalks coming out of this one. And this is the one that was organic and quadruple the price of the other one. But now I'm going to really eat my words if this turns out to be the one from the Asian store. I don't think it is, though. But we will know here, and I'll let you guys know when we plant it out. I will be able to tell for sure which one is which. All right. So this is still really healthy ginger. It's still going to produce a lot of stuff, no doubt. Now, ginger does not need nearly the amount of sun of any other crop. So put ginger in your shadiest place. It still needs some sun, but put it in the shadiest possible space, okay? Now, let me show you guys here. This turmeric just started to come up after I planted it the same day as the ginger, okay? And it has just begun to come up. You see how it looks very similar? It's a rhizome and stuff. Now, there's going to be a lot more because we got this one coming up. We got this one here. You see that one coming up like that. We got these coming up. There's several of them that are popping up, I can see. But these have been hard. These have been hard. And this stuff's going to be wonderful, though. Turmeric looks very much like ginger, except for just a little bit thicker of leaves like this. So it's going to be far behind, but we will still get a good batch of turmeric. All right, we'll still get a good batch of turmeric. And look, I've had to keep it so moist and so hot that it's got the mold growing on top, you know. But I'm not that worried about it because these rhizomes are incredibly hardy and they're about to go outside before too long. So this I'll probably actually keep indoors for another few weeks until they're a bit more established. Yeah. So Pam says, Nate, I have joined the Discord, but I have no idea how to use it. I would like to send photos of my ginger. Guys, can someone give her, look to nature, can you give her a tutorial on how to do that? Because I'm not entirely sure. But remember, guys, join the Discord now while it's still free, all right? Because once the courses start coming out, that whole community is going to be privatized, and it's going to be a benefit that you get with signing up for the courses, which it is an amazing benefit because it's all you guys firsthand experience with pictures and all kinds of stuff. It's like an incredibly valuable resource. I haven't been on there in a while as far as answering questions because I have to focus on other things at the moment. But once it goes private, I'll be on there a lot. I'll be on there regularly. I will put it back on my phone and I will answer anyone that, you know, I will be super active again on there once it's part of the course, because then it's, you know, contributing to the enterprise to get the land. So, but until then, it has to take a backseat ride. So join up, because everyone that's in there once the courses start will be grandfathered in for free. Okay. So just remember that. Now let me put this stuff back. And guys, does anybody have experience with something called a fern tree, bonsai tree? Tegan, my mom got Tegan a like bonsai kit, and we've got the flame tree bonsai, and we've got the fern tree bonsai. Do you guys know anything about the fern tree? The flame tree is super cool, and it's like this big already, growing really fast. But I don't know about this one. I have no idea. Do you guys know anything about the fern tree? Ooh, Serena, listen to that joke right there. How do Vikings communicate? They use Norse code. Yes, I like it, which is kind of true. Guess what else we've got going on here? Okay, so at Rural King, we found a couple of massive, you know, those elephant ear plants, those giant elephant ear plants, which we love. And so they had a couple of those bulbs, giant elephant ears. So I was like, I'm sure I could start it up, give it a jump start indoors, right? And so I got the bulb is like this big. And so I got it and put it into one of the old mushroom growing buckets with some supercharged soil and put it on the heat mat. And now look, okay, look, I'm super excited about this. Look, it's just now starting to pop up. You see that little thing right there? Just now starting to pop up. I've just been keeping it moist and on the heat mat. So this is going to be out front this year. It's going to be one of them giant elephant ears. Yeah. Do you guys have any advice? I've never grown one of them before, but it doesn't really matter. I'll be able to grow it, no problem. But do you have any advice on, do they like it super nutrient rich? I would imagine that they do. Super nutrient rich and moist. So, yes, Meyer Lemons, you need to get on there and get the Discord thing happening. It's going to be, community is so important, as all you guys know. But the exchange of knowledge from firsthand stuff is very important. And that's what we want there. Okay? So, let's see, guys. Now, okay, so look, here's another reason that I'm planting out the peppers, is because I did exactly what I always say not to do, and I started way too early, okay? Because I thought that it was going to be super warm by now, which it has not been. It has been very cool up until just a few days ago. Now all of a sudden it's warm. And now all of a sudden it's going to be warm the rest of the season, it looks like. So I topped many of the pepper plants. All right, so look, here's where my peppers are. And they were inside too long. They're too fat. They're too, they're not happy right now. So they had that phosphorus. You remember that they had that phosphorus deficiency, magnesium uptake deficiency because they were so cold. I tried to slow down their growth by taking them off the heat mat, and they all just turned purple, because the phosphorus was not able to uptake. I should have remembered this, of course, but I just had so many things going on. So they suffered. But now they're back, and they were growing too tall. They were like this tall. And so I had to top them, dramatically top them yesterday. Okay. So now let me just show you guys what sort of happens when we top. Because you can top or you cannot top. It doesn't actually matter all that much. But and now just since yesterday, okay, look, this thing was about this tall yesterday. And I used to top those other plants when I was high stakes gardening. I used to love topping. If it's the right strain, you top aggressively. And so a lot of people would see me they would think I cut the plant, down to a third. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, it'll recover because the root system is already established. So this thing was up to here. And I said, okay, I can't be planting a pepper plant that's, 4 feet tall in just one, just like a little stalk. So, because I thought they were going to have to be inside for another month because of our last frost date. But so I topped them. Okay. And this was just yesterday. But then I made the decision after consulting the oracle to put them out. Okay. But I topped it. And just since yesterday, look at the difference. When you top the plant, it sends the hormones, the auxin and other growth hormones, down here to its other growing nodes. Now, just yesterday, these 3 right here looked like this one. It looked like these. You see how there's like virtually nothing coming out there in these? There's like nothing. That was just yesterday. And now they're just exploding. So see how you top it, it's going to make it bushier. Now, all of these little tiny things are going to grow up and be like this. So topping makes them a lot bushier. Now, that's a single top. You can double top as well. But yes, exactly, Teets. And that is why if you have a strain that is prone to purpling and you want to express those purple genetics more, you bring the nighttime temps down, 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 and it will express the purple a lot more. But we don't want purple pepper plants, all right? So that's too much. Now, certain plants like this, which I've never grown before, this was given to me, I think, by Meyer Lemons. This is one of the ones from this is the collage pepper. So this one I didn't have to top because this is all the bigger that it is right now. There's several of these, several kind of other, let's see here. Several of these. The one that you're looking at there is a Lute Shower. Now, one of you guys sent me that last year, and I loved it. It was a Hungarian paprika that is a little bit spicy. But if you eat the seeds, very, very spicy. But it's got that buttery flavor that you want from paprika. So we're growing a bunch of them this year. We're growing a bunch of the Lute Showers this year. Now, something that is really strange. Okay, so I think it was Meyer Lemons as well. That's the bell pepper. All right, those bell peppers from that collage, or from that set from Fruition Seeds. Now, only one of those plants, one of those bell peppers, is the only plant that got suddenly somehow infested with these little tiny microscopic aphid-looking things. So this is the only plant out of all the plants, period, and it's just covered in them. So I'm probably going to take that outside and put it back out. But none of the other plants have any of them. So I'm probably actually going to get rid of that plant because that plant is probably signaling to all the other plants, hey, I'm weak, come and devour me so that I don't contribute to the gene pool a bunch of weakness. That's how plants are. So I'm looking forward to it. But guys, aggressively topping once the roots are plenty established is perfectly fine if you want bushier plants. But the thing that I got to remind you, based upon my several years of experimentation, is that when you top your pepper plants, you will get bushier, stalkier, stouter plants. They will not be as tall, and you will have bushier plants, more side shoots. They'll be stalkier. But as far as actual pepper production, I have not noticed any difference whatsoever. They produce virtually the same amount of peppers. And I've done it several years. And so I did, well, 2 years in particular, I did distinct experiments. I did 4 Ivarsky peppers not topped, 4 Ivarsky peppers topped, right side by side. Everything else was the exact same. And the non-topped peppers were about twice the height, maybe 30% taller than the topped peppers, but they were skinnier. And the topped peppers were bushier, a little bit shorter, but the pepper production per plant was the same, totally indistinguishable. I mean, not noticeable. Okay, so that's why I've not really noticed anything with that. But one thing that I did want to show you, and why I've topped these things so much, is that they started to flower. Well, there's no flowers here now, but they started to flower indoors. I mean, dramatically flower, because I got them Mars Hydro SP3000s, but they started to really put out a lot of flowers. And so that's not what we want indoors. We want them to focus on the vegetative growth. So this top had a bunch of flowers on it. So I dramatically topped it. And now it's refocusing its efforts on the vegetative growth. You can already see how that's happening here. All right? It's refocusing its efforts. You do not want them flowering inside. Now, even though this tomato plant is way too big, you can see that there's no flowers on it. All right, there was some flowers on it, but we went ahead and cut them off because we don't want them to start focusing energy on flowering, especially determinate tomatoes. Now, this is a hillbilly tomato, an indeterminate that we're going to be growing. It doesn't matter as much, but determinates like Roma, you do not want them to start setting fruit right now. That's way down the line. So you got to keep that in mind. Okay. Yes, Country Living says, would the plants be stronger as shorter and stockier? Definitely. They are just like you would think, a short, stout, stocky, solid plant. So especially if you're not going to stake them extensively, then you can top them twice. You can top them several times. Now, peppers in their natural environment are in the same family as tomatoes, and so they grow in such a way that they will grow up and then kind of collapse. Their limbs will kind of naturally break off a little bit and then root, and then they will kind of crawl along the ground a little bit. They don't grow big and tall so much. Some of them do, but like we make them do with the cages and the staking and all of that. So you got to keep that in mind. If you don't want to use cages, then you can top them twice even. So you could top it like this, and then you'll see all of these coming out. Then in about another 2 weeks, these are going to be full size. Then we're going to top them again, and that will make them bush out even more. And that's all that I wouldn't top any further, not your pepper plants at least. All right, RK, see you later. Thank you. I forget what you were talking about, which plant it was. Sorry. Oh yeah, Pepper Geeks is a great channel. So I think Pepper Geek experimented with topping peppers. I believe he said it wasn't beneficial. Yeah, it's probably not unbeneficial. It's just not. It doesn't do anything as far as pepper production. Yeah. What was the name of the favorite Hungarian paprika? Well, both of my favorites are Hungarian. Well, actually, I guess that the Ivarsky is Macedonian. So Ivarsky with a J, AJV, something else, ski. That's the sweet one. That's my favorite of all else. That's what we are growing. Many of them. We're going to have like 8 of those plants. And we're going to have like 4 maybe loot showers. And that will be enough if they're grown properly. The loot shower, I think I'm saying it right. LEUTSCHEUARGHI, all that kind of stuff. But so that's one that is a Hungarian hot paprika. So it is spicy. It is spicy, but not like blow your head off spicy, but very good for hot paprika, which we'll use for many things. So we're growing both. We're going to smoke and dehydrate both. We're also going to just dehydrate them. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, Dusty Flats. So it says use horticultural oil and it will smother soft body aphids. Keep out of sun. Yes, the most of the time my experience is that when I move them outside, they will just naturally go away because it's only in the tents. It actually only happens once I started hardening them off by taking it outside and then bringing it back into the tent. That was all it took. Then all of a sudden I saw those just a few days ago, and that was fast because the aphids or whatever they are love the nice warm environment. Hmm? Definitely, VA Green. I wonder if with the pepper plant, if instead of topping, you could try the other method by pulling the top down and letting the lower branches take over. That could definitely happen as well. Yes, although you know, those kind of techniques are about if you are limited based upon your plant count. If it's like, okay, I'm allowed to have 4 plants, so how do I maximize the harvest of these 4 plants? That's different than gardening with these kind of plants where it's not like, okay, I've only got 4 pepper plants and I've got to get that canopy 9 square feet of each pepper plant, you know, double layers of trellises and everything, and out there underneath them sticking it like this, getting that canopy perfect, the screen of stuff. And so, no, that's not what we're going to do with these plants. We're just going to mildly top it once and let it go. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So, okay, guys. Well, let's see here. Now, we ended up having a real nice talk, even though we didn't get David the Good on the show. That's all right. We're not going to hold it against him, okay? So, yeah. Hey, if you know, you know. If you've done it, you know. You're in there twisting out, trying to get that thing under the canopy like this. Yeah. Well, we're not limited by the number of pepper plants we can grow, okay? So guys, make sure that you go to the Facebook Garden Like a Viking Facebook page, give a like, leave a comment, share the video that's there, and all that good stuff. Okay, I appreciate it. And also, if you guys are doing your shopping on Amazon, do it through the link in the description, which I know you guys have been doing, which is awesome. So thank you very much. That's the easiest way to help the channel and the whole enterprise to grow. If I'm calling it the right thing, an enterprise, I don't know, but the whole operation, all right, the whole mission, the whole thing. So thank you very much. Just use the link in the description to get onto Amazon, and whatever you purchase in that browsing window is going to, we're going to get the credit for it. Okay. So Mario Lemon says, Nate, sorry about the Crimson Bell. I had a really good season with them last year. Both those varieties are later season beauties. Nice. Oh, not your fault. But it's okay. I've still got 2 others of the same thing. I planted 3 of them. So I'm going to plant those other 2 and not that one. That's just how that's going to go. All right. No problem. So, okay, guys, remember, join the Discord. And let's see here. Matt says, I want to make my own sauerkraut, but I got to have room to grow cabbages. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You could make it from microgreen cabbage. You could. Lucia Bora, hello, my friend. Says, thank you, Nate, and everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow on Nate's other channel, Nate Murray. Lots of love for you all. Yes, guys, we're not sure, though, if we're going to have, we probably will. We probably will, but it's Easter. You know, we've got things going on with the family. We got to have, you know, I mean, we got to, maybe the Easter bunny is, we got to track him down, you know, using my thermal imaging scope. We got to try and track him down and stuff. So we might not be on the Nate Murray channel tomorrow. But remember, I said that we got to play that by ear for the growing season. That channel, we play by ear. Once the growing is like under control, then we'll be right back to every week, okay? So, so yes. Thank you, Fantastic. All right, guys. Remember, if you ordered the Viking granular, you will get it, okay? It's out of stock now, but it will be available again next week, but it's going to be in a bag and a box, but it will get shipped to you. So anyone that's ordered and paid for it now, it will get shipped this coming week, okay? Once we get a handle on all of that, we had to pivot. Once we get the new shipping done, it's all going to be good, okay? So thank you all very much. I will see you next time.